Next question, B Nile 0. When will McLaren stop screwing over Oscar on strategy when Lando is consistently performing more poorly? It's actually really annoying to watch Lando get so many handouts and watch everyone make excuses for his poor performances. Poor performances aside right now, and lap 1, Lando was poor. He lost a couple of positions, and it could have been a lot worse for him had he not been able to clear them both, which he did. The McLaren was the fastest car today. Ferrari were there or thereabouts, of course, but no other team were close. For this one, I don't really know what you want McLaren to do as it's playing out live. This is an absolute example of the driver who is not... It could either be first and second fighting, and the second driver will do something different. In this case, first and second were so locked in on each other, although Oscar was, of course, checking out what Lando was doing. And Lando, with McLaren's help, decided to do something different. They did not believe that one-stop strategy was going to be the best. Otherwise, they would have put Oscar on that, is my opinion. And you had Charles Leclerc also committing to a two-stop. And the one-stop strategy, as well, it did work for some drivers, but it was not deemed to be the fastest coming into this. So I think it's unfair to say that McLaren are, and this is what we spoke about in the watch-along, favouring Lando in this situation because it very much was a Hail Mary that just played off. I think it's unfair to then downplay what Lando did in this race. Lap 1 aside, the rest of the race he did and pulled off that one stop is something that should be commended. It's not like he was just given the win with some crazy call that was so obviously the right decision. Or like
a VSC went into his hands.
Yeah, nothing was given to him. He had to earn that with a strategy that turned out to be good, but he had to make it work.
Until we see Oscar Piastri in second place, or third, fourth, whatever, and Lando's winning, and he wants a crazy strategy to try and do something different to beat Lando. If McLaren say no, then this argument holds up. But until then, it absolutely doesn't, because this is just the nature of Formula One. When you are behind, that is when you can take a risk. Charles Leclerc at Monza, George Russell at Spa, where you'd never do that situation when you're leading. Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri, drivers normally stick to that. Basically, this is the quickest thing on a delta time because you're controlling the race. When you're behind. So, yes, Lando got, in a weird way, fortunate because his poor start actually allowed a situation where he thought, well, I'm fourth if I just step behind Russell the whole race. Or, and because of Alonso opening that absolute chasm, if this strategy goes completely wrong, I'm in exactly the same position. If it goes right, I could win the race. And that's exactly what happened. And it's all right screaming favoritism and all this kind of stuff. This has always happened in Formula One.
It's literally Formula One. Yeah,
it's literally Formula One.
Time, not the last time.
And this is also the nature now of what we said in the last race at Spa, where two sides of the garage, they've won the championship, they've won the drivers, they've won, we don't know who yet, but they've won the drivers, they've won the constructors, and now it's the two teams within the team for themselves to win the championship.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that McLaren is not one entity here. It is Oscar Piastri's side of the garage versus Lando's side of the garage. So if you want to say that McLaren are infiltrating, they're infiltrating themselves. Like they're literally fighting against each other to get their driver ahead of the other one.
Exactly, and all these mechanics in the team are going to be very happy that they win the Constructors' Championship. But as much as that is the case, if you are a engineer of Oscar Piastri or an engineer of Lando, you want your driver to win the championship, and this is what we're seeing here, which is why I said this at the start. Until we see a situation where Oscar is behind and they either call it off or say no, just stick to the 1-2. They're letting them race. You can't.
Yeah,